Now, what does that tell us about a community that may still hold the religious beliefs that they had in their youth? Maybe they still hold on to a lot of the traditions. They simply literally don't go to Sunday services. And maybe they are only loosely affiliated through donations or something. What does it tell us about the trajectory of the Christian faith in the US then, if the beliefs are still there, but the formal affiliation to a church is not?
So, the thing I would love to have some sociologists work on is I would love to see people putting the dechurching data that Ryan Burge has been developing in conversation with the work of Christian Smith, who's a sociologist at Notre Dame, who's done a lot of work on what he calls moralistic therapeutic deism. And Smith's view that he was, and this was in the 90s when he first started saying this, was that a lot of church going Americans were not really Christian when you actually kind of poked at their beliefs a little bit. They were moralistic therapeutic deists. So they believed in a kind of vague God who wasn't really that involved in day-to-day life and who wanted them to be good people. And that was the belief. I think you could very easily make the argument it all adds up in my head. I just haven't seen data to kind of substantiate it. That if you have that kind of moralistic therapeutic deism as the default in churches for a quarter century, dating back to when Christian Smith first started writing on it, there's not really a need to go to church in the moralistic therapeutic deist frame. Because the only need is for you to be a good person. And what that means is really going to get defined on a individual basis for most people, I think. There might be some basic kind of things we all agree on that you shouldn't do, but a lot of people, it's really going to be a kind of pursue your own truth kind of thing, is how a lot of folks will look at it. And when that's your frame, you don't have a reason to go to church. The other piece here that I think is really important is that there's a broader pattern in American life right now, just toward disaffiliating with institutions and public life more generally. So, philanthropic societies have fewer volunteers working for them these days. Things like bowling leagues are kind of a thing of the past. Like Bill Putnam, I think is his name, had a book called Bowling Alone that came out 25 years ago, talking about the breakdown of common life in the US. So, it may well be the case that a lot of the dechurching dynamics are not necessarily something going on unique to American religion or unique to the church, but it's just a broader part of this kind of trend of social disengagement or institutional disengagement that you can find all across American society.